Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. We are a congregation that welcomes all people, people of all backgrounds, races, genders, sexual orientations, abilities and disabilities, both seen and unseen. At UUCA, we encourage people to come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose together. My name is Burke Kapler. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees and its chair. Today is Sunday, May 14th, and whether this is your first time here or this is your regular Sunday place, we're glad you made it. Today is Mother's Day, and because I love trivia, I will share with you that the founding of Mother's Day is generally credited to Julia Ward Howe, who, number one, was a Unitarian, and number two, was also the author of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and who conceived of Mother's Day as Mother's Day for Peace in reaction to the Civil War. Today, we, of course, take a broader view. We use this day to recognize and celebrate all those who mother us, be they our actual mothers or the people who step up to nurture and support us and those around us. So happy Mother's Day. Two quick announcements. First of all, next Sunday, May 21st, begins our summer schedule, which means we will have one service at 10:15. That will be our youth-led service, so please come and be prepared to be wowed by our youth. And then starting with that service and continuing through the summer months, UUCA will be moving to a mask-optional service, so you can check your email or connections for more information about that. As always, welcome to UUCA. Thank you.
It is good to be together on this day, on this beautiful day, and I want to invite you to turn toward each other and to say hello, especially if the person near you is a new face to you.
So I hope you all will continue greeting and meeting and fellowshipping after this service. It is lovely to see so many faces here this morning. Our call to worship today is written by my good friend, Lori Stewart. It's called A New Beginning. This morning, in the spirit of community and with a sense of purpose for ministry and love, let us discover the strengths. Let us hold the concerns. Let us remember the grief and the joy. Let this journey be one of love, of authenticity, of reverence and spirit. Let us shape our lives and our work and our days as an expression of joy. Let us remember the love, the commitment, and the idea that we were here to be of service to each other and to make the world a better place. Let us have a new beginning as we join in worship this morning. Let us come together.
Each week we light a candle of compassion, caring for those for whom the week is hard for many reasons. Today I think especially of those for whom Mother's Day is hard, those of us who have lost mothers, those of us with complicated relationships with our mothers, those who long to be mothers or who have lost children or pregnancies, for the joyful and sweet and sad, complex nature of adoption for birth mothers and adoptive mothers, for mothers who are now fathers and parents, for all for whom this day holds complication, challenge, as well as joy. And along with Unitarian Universalists around the world, we light our chalice on Sunday morning. I invite you to join me in our chalice lighting words found in your order of service. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
For our opening hymn this morning, we're going to be in our blue hymnal, hymn number 1003, Where Do We Come From? And we're going to sing as a round. First, you're going to hear, we're all going to sing together as a group the hymn as it's written. You'll see 4 lines. We're going to sing each line twice in its order, all together, and then we're going to start the round. And Reverend CTC and Reverend Amanda are going to help with this as well. And then after we sing the last line, the 4th line, in its normal way twice, I'm going to point over here. And this group will sing the first line over and over and over. Hang on to it. And then Reverend CTC will give you the cue for this middle group to sing the second line over and over, okay? And then over here, you'll see Reverend Amanda.
I'm going to take some of you, too.
Yes, just go where you
get
feel like
some
going.
few.
It's you,
Okay,
so.
killing you.
And they'll sing over and over until we get the cue from Reverend CTC to end us.
We'll
How's that
just keep
sound?
singing.
We'll just do it all.
just keep singing.
Next 45 minutes. Get used to it now. All right. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? That was a lot better than first service.
Oh, they tried.
They tried
We
so
tried.
hard.
We tried.
We
We tried.
tried so hard. Dedication, right? Once in a while, we are fortunate enough to do one of the most exciting things in the life of a congregation. We do a child dedication. We welcome a new person into our tribe. This community is growing and changing all the time. This morning, we want to acknowledge one of the newest members of the tribe, Eva Louise Tetrault Hughes. We also want to open our hearts and dedicate ourselves to helping this child and their family as they travel into the new territory of shaping what we call family.
As parents, grandparents, godparents, family, and friends, humanity is our responsibility. Human beings are a very specific part of the universe for which we have a direct hand in caring. We can give them our love, our care, our respect, and our dedication.
Do know, this is not a baptism, nor a ritual to usher a child into a certain belief system. None of us gathered here today wish to impose our beliefs on Eva or her family. We're not saving this child today. Rather, we are welcoming them on the path to being more human and more humane. We are freely committing ourselves to supporting them as they discover their own way.
So I would like to invite Eva and her parents, and I believe
There's
godparents
godparents,
as well,
yes.
to come forward and join us on the chancel. You are just, oh my goodness, that dress.
Oh.
I can't actually
and
handle
that
it.
headband. I just can't do it.
And surrounded by beautiful
Eva.
community. So
Good.
come on
Yeah,
up.
why don't you guys come over
Oh,
here? Perfect.
gracious. Okay.
Oh.
Ooh. Oh,
Can we just breathe in the baby?
yeah.
Just, oh, wonderful.
Hi.
Hey, hi.
Okay, that's it. She just dedicated herself.
it.
It's fine.
And we'll sing now.
Oh, Michelle and Matthew, are you ready to dedicate yourselves to loving and supporting your child as they move through our world? And I want to invite as well the godmothers here to join in answering. Are you ready to dedicate yourself to loving and supporting your child as she moves through our world?
Do you promise to care for this child and love them with all your heart and spirit? We will.
Will you extend to this child unmeasurable kindness and courage? Will you encourage them to live out their dreams?
Will you show them how to love justice and live with compassion?
If you willingly agree to honor this relationship, will you say these words aloud? You can see them written there, here. Yep.
We pledge to set a good example for our child and to do everything we can to stay by their side on this journey of life. We will steady them when they falter and catch them when they fall. Today we promise to be present whenever they need us.
Will you please share the name of your child with the congregation?
By this name is your, oh, where did my flower go? Okay, take another. By this name is your child known today. As her life unfolds, may we be open to their knowledge of their name and their selfhood as it unfolds, just as the blossom unfurls and blossoms. You want to take that? What do you think? Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Yep.
Is it? No, don't eat it.
Yep.
No,
Well,
no,
I actually
don't.
need it for this part. Can I hold on to it?
Can I have it
I
back?
touch your brow. Ready? I touch your brow to dedicate you to a life of careful and thoughtful thinking. I touch your eyes. I'm just going to pretend to touch them. Whoosh. To dedicate you to a life of clear vision, unclouded by prejudice or fear. I touch your mouth, I know you want that part, and remind you to choose your words carefully and to speak with honesty and power. And I touch your heart, boop, dedicating you to a life filled with generosity and love. I know, really, yeah. I'm not 100% sure how we are on plant safety there, so we're just going to have you hold that.
On plant safety, is that what you said? Wait, I think you can hold that one, but don't eat it, okay? She'll eat it. Okay, so no.
No, yeah.
So you're going to be my handy assistant. You're going to hold those flowers?
Don't eat it, okay?
You can tell we rehearsed this, right? Yes. You got it?
Yep.
Okay. I rub this earth into your hand, just a little bit, because you're going to want to eat it. Oh, yeah, I know it's dirt. It's good stuff. I rub this earth into your hand, dedicating you to a life of hard work, reminding you and your caregivers that it is good to get your hands dirty, doing the work of the world. I brush you with flame and remind you that the world is warm, the world is vivid, and our world is beautiful. I wet your hand with water. May it cleanse and cool your spirit when troubled. May it lessen your thirst for love when your heart is parched and you are weary. Ooh. I gently move the air about you. Promise you a life filled with silky breezes. Oh, you're going to eat that too, aren't you? Yeah. And gentle winds, reminding you that all of us can offer support when life becomes stormy. Will the congregation please rise? You should have an insert. Your part is on the back. In one voice. We give thanks for this child. You belong to the sky, the ocean, and land. We are connected not only to each other, but to the natural elements that surround us. Each new child brings hope and new beginnings to our community. We know that this child will offer their unique gifts to the world. Knowing that challenges and joys lie ahead, we promise to stand with Eva and their family, offering hope, courage, and love. Please be seated. May the truth that sets us free, and the hope that never dies, and the love that casts out fear, be with us now until the day spring breaks and the shadows flee. We welcome you, Eva, into this community and into our lives. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, welcome.
Yay!
Welcome. Normally we do the children's blessing song to usher the children out, so let's do that. The words are in your order of service.
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of the world you will find. To
As we move deeper into our service, let's take a breath and let that air out and center ourselves right here in this space. Maybe one more breath in and let that air out and let yourself be here with this fellowship of people. This is a Mother's Day prayer that was written by Reverend Kathleen Rollins. Source of sources, spirit of life. This is Mother's Day, a day set aside to honor, celebrate, and in some places just reflect on those who gave us birth. Some of us come to this day with joy, with strong and tender feelings for the women who have earned the right to be called mother. They not only gave us our lives, they're responsible for shaping our spirits. They have fed us, played with us, nurtured us, listened to us. They have given unselfishly for us and loved us unconditionally. Source of sources. If our mothers are still living, we can make the extra effort to stay in touch. We can work to find ways to give back a portion of that love we've so abundantly received. If our mothers have passed, let us take time to cherish our memories of them, memories which may flood our eyes with bittersweet tears of longing. We miss those mothers that are gone. We feel the loss even more acutely on this day. We are grateful for the strength they gave us, for the wisdom they passed on, for their beauty, and for everything that they left in their wake. Today, let us move together into a time of reflection on all those who have mothered us, those in our lives who have shown their love for us through motherhood, through mentoring, through tough, gentle, truth-telling, loving, wise, whimsical living. Let us remember those who served as teachers, as mentors, as guides and friends. And on this day, let us lift up mothering and remember the great mother that sustains us all. This mother whose body is the very substance of our existence, the very ground we walk upon. This Mother Earth that is the source of our being. Source of sources, may these things be true, be held, and be loved. Amen.
Would you please join us now in singing Spirit of Life, first in Spanish, then in English? The words are in your order of service, and you may remain seated.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sobre al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
One of the ways that we live our faith in this congregation is by sharing from monies collected here on Sunday morning, 70% with an organization whose values resonate with our own. For the month of May, we are sharing with Alive, and rather than tell you about Alive myself, I want to invite Mary Eileen Dixon to come and share with us.
Good morning. I'm Mary Eileen Dixon, the president. Thank you. Thank you. The president of the Alive Board, and I'm very happy to be here with you this morning, although following beautiful Eva and her family, it's going to be a hard act to follow. But nonetheless, we're very grateful for the opportunity to speak to you during the month of May and to share your collection plates. That's very generous of you. For those of you who are not familiar with Alive, it's an organization of faith communities which was established over 50 years ago to help meet the basic needs of Alexandrians who struggle with poverty and with hunger. We have been doing that ever since by providing food, transitional shelter, emergency financial assistance to people who need help with rent or utilities or medical bills, and also we help with basic furniture and housewares. All of these are provided to struggling Alexandrians. We have done so over the last 52 or so years by relying primarily on volunteers. Our motto has been neighbors helping neighbors, and we are very serious about that. We've continued to operate basically in the same fashion from 1969 through 2019, except that the number of our congregations increased from the original 12 to the 49, which we have right now. Your congregation has been a member since 1990, and we are very grateful for the support which it has given Alive in the intervening years. That includes financial support from the congregation and individual members, donations of furniture and housewares, and we are very appreciative of the houseware collection that's going on right now, as well as the time given by congregational members who have volunteered with our various programs, including most recently picking up and delivering furniture yesterday morning. Your congregation has also provided Alive with valuable leadership, including Diana Day and Anne Marie Hay here, whom I've had the pleasure of working with for more than a decade now on the Alive board. Both Anne Marie and Diana have been very valuable officers in the organization. With the arrival of COVID in 2019, however, Alive had to move to a much higher gear. We had to assist many more households than we had ever done before. Pre-COVID, we had been providing food to approximately 400 households a month. During the peak of COVID in the fall of 2021, that number rose to almost 6,000. So we increased from approximately 400 to almost 6,000. Moreover, we took on new functions like eviction prevention support to help those who are on the verge of homelessness. We've also recently opened up 2 food hubs in Alexandria, which allow our clients to come in and choose items that they need rather than just being handed bags. We're very excited about that. We've only been able to step up as we have done because of the support of our member congregations and of the broader community, both in the financial support they give us, but also the thousands of volunteer hours which they have given. I'd like to be able to say that we can relax now that the pandemic is no longer an emergency. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Because of the ending of government-provided COVID relief at the same time that the cost of living has risen, demand for our services is spiking again. To meet the need that continues to come to us, we continue to need your generosity. We are very grateful for whatever support you can give us. I can promise you that it will be put to good use. On a personal note, I'd like to add that one of the reasons that I've been so involved with Alive over the past 12 years is its interfaith nature. In a period during which religion seems to often be seen as part of the problem, I find it gratifying to work with people from varied faith backgrounds or no faith background to carry out the imperatives of all of our traditions, helping our struggling neighbors, those who suffer from poverty and hunger. This is what Alive does, and I personally really value the time I spend with it. Again, thank you so much for including us this morning and in your offerings for the month. We're very happy to be part of that. Thank you.
Our offering will now be collected, receiving your gifts of generosity as well as gifts of music from Jesse.
Guten Abend, gute Nacht, mit Rosen bedacht, mit Näglein besteckt, schlupf unter die Deck, morgen früh, wenn Gott will, wirst du wieder geweckt, morgen früh, wenn Gott will, wirst du wieder geweckt. Guten Abend, gute Nacht, mit Englein bewacht, die zeigen im Traum die Christkindleins Baum. Schlaf nun selig und süß, schau im Traums Paradies. Schlaf nun selig und süß, schau im Traums Paradies.
Eva, that was a perfectly timed gurgle. Matthew and Michelle, you'll be glad to know that along with the dedication comes live Brahms sung in German as lullabies for you at any time. So beautiful. If the offering will come forward, I'll invite us to bless our gifts together. As our ushers come forward with the gifts you have given, I invite you to turn to your order of service to bless them. Right there is perfect. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with this congregation. Thank you so much. During our 75th anniversary year, we have been lucky to hear from several folks about their experiences here at UUCA over the years. And this morning, we'll hear from Robert Buckman about his many years of work with voice.
Good morning. And thank you very much for your kind words. My wife Jane and I have been members of Voice since 1997. Just so you know, I had a stroke about a year and a quarter ago, and since then it's left me with stumbling for words. Voice, Virginia's Organized for Interfaith Community Engagement, is an association of 45 interfaith congregations. Its membership includes Christians, Jews, Muslims, Unitarian Universalists from across Fairfax, Prince William County, Arlington County, and Arlington counties. These congregations worked together to improve the lives of disenfranchised people. They do so by, one, listening to people as they describe the hardships they face, and two, by helping them organize themselves to build the political power necessary to bring meaningful and lasting change for the better. UUCA was instrumental in the founding of Voice 15 years ago and officially went public on October 5th, 2008, with the staging of a 2,200-person action that was held in Woodbridge, Virginia. Our Voice team and UUCA supporting members arrived there by the busload, 210 persons strong. My work with Voice actually began 3 years earlier when Reverend Dr. Olson Peoples, our minister at the time, began to explore the idea of introducing community organizing to Voice. Upon learning I had recently retired from the government career and was looking for meaningful work, Linda teamed me up with Martin Trimble, a professional organizer. I attended 7-day national training in Boston, where I learned the history, principles, and methodologies of community organizing. This process opened my eyes to the social change that is possible when people organize to build the power necessary to change the way things are to the way they ought to be. I personally met with more than 500 lay leaders and clergy across Northern Virginia. Virtually all were people who I never would have met before. As I listened to them speak of their personal experiences, I felt myself being transformed. Such is the power of relationships. Voice has achieved remarkable results over its 15-year history, and I'm proud to say that I co-chaired Voice and the strategy team when we first met Voice. Quoting from a very short list of victories: 1, Voice played a major role in creating the first ever public defender's office in Prince William County. 2, Voice won $250 million in mortgage principal reduction and loan modification from national banks in restitution for their predatory lending practices. Voice increased the threshold for felony from $200, one of the lowest in the country, to $1,000. Voice restored driving rights to 627 citizens returning from society from prison, where the licenses had been suspended solely because of court debt. Voice moved in Fairfax County to recognize non-Christian holidays. Voice worked with allies, allowing Arlington County to approve the construction of hundreds of units of affordable housing. And most recently, Voice worked with the housing alliances to end legacy exclusionary zoning practices in Arlington. Looking ahead, Voice is working to decriminalize mental illnesses and addiction. Stay tuned. Voice is planning to call on 1,500 of us to meet with Governor Youngkin in July. This is what I like to tell people about Voice. Voice organizes disenfranchised people to help them realize and support their political power, to demand a voice in community decision-making. Voice is strictly nonpartisan. Voice works across political, religious, racial, and social economic lines to bring more dignity and greater opportunity to an ever-widening circle of society. Aligned with UU values, Voice works to build beloved community where people thrive. We love to hear from you. Please find myself and other Voice leaders in the fellowship hall after service. Look for these yellow buttons. Thank you very much.
Robert, thank you so much for those words and for all of the work that you have done on behalf of UUCA in Northern Virginia. Our reading this morning comes from Robert Walsh from the book Stone Blessings, and it's titled, "Let Me Tell You About My Granddaughter." I just didn't realize how it was going to be being a grandparent. I remember all the times people have told me about their grandchildren, and I reacted with awe and admiration, but I didn't really understand until now. I've heard that old saw so many times about how the joys of grandparenting are derived from the ability to hand her back to her parents when she begins to cry or needs changing. Well, sometimes that's true, but it points to a greater truth that I prefer to state this way. There's a purity about my love for Emma that was not there when my kids were infants. My love for Emma is not mixed up with a lot of problem solving, nor is her presence in my life accompanied by losses, like the loss of freedom to go out for the evening. I love Emma just for being, and for being in relationship with me. Just because she is here in the world and I'm connected with her, she is a unique, miraculous, mysterious, precious gift. Emma can't do very much yet. Besides the essential bodily functions, she can make noises and various facial expressions, including the beginnings of a smile, and she can look me in the eye. She can move her arms and feet around and hold my finger. She has wondrous potential. Think of the things she might do with her mind and hands and heart. But I don't love her for her potential. I love her for who she is right now. If there's a hierarchy of loving relationships, then I'd have to affirm first the ones that require great sacrifice. I'd let parents have the front seats on the bus to paradise. After all, if it weren't for parents, there wouldn't be any grandparents. And anyway, I'm already in paradise when I'm with Emma. Let Me Tell You About My Granddaughter by Robert Walsh.
There are all kinds of mothers out there. Biological mothers, adoptive mothers, fathers who are mothers, stepmothers, working mothers, grandmothers, mothers-in-law, stay-at-home mothers, mothers who catch the metro. There are mothers who may have left us too early and mothers who don't let us go at all. This sermon about the blessings and the burdens and the joys and the sorrows of motherhood is actually keyed into the responsibility and the rejoicing that goes with motherhood. Now, I know some of you are not moms. Some of you are married, some of you are single, some of you are aunts, some of you are uncles, some of you are here because you had to come to church today. But I'm gonna ask all of you to just hang in there for a minute. Because whether or not you are a mother, you know a mother, you want to be a mother, Mother's Day is for you. There's something for everyone in Mother's Day. It's not just for those who care for the wee ones, for the toddlers, for the children who challenge and cheer us every day. There's something in Mother's Day for everyone. I'm also going to ask you to bear with me and play along. Will the mothers please rise in body or spirit? Will the fathers please rise in body or spirit? If you're a grandparent, if you're an aunt, if you're an uncle, if you're a caretaker, please stand up. The brothers, the sisters, the cousins, the nephews, the nieces, please rise. Now look around you. All of you are mothering at some point in your lives. You can give each other a little wave, thumbs up, pat on the back, please. Please have a seat. Happy Mother's Day to all of you, and bless you for loving and for setting examples for our children. We are grateful. Do you remember the classic story, the children's story, Are You My Mother? It was written by P.D. Eastman. It was published by Random House over 50 years ago in June of 1960. In that story, a mama bird leaves her nest and thinks the egg is just going to stay put. She just goes to Wegmans, takes a little trip to Harris Teeter, realizes she doesn't have enough to eat for when the egg finally does crack and the baby bird appear. The egg hatches, though, while she's gone. And the baby bird then has to go on a quest to find his mother. During that search, he asks a number of things and elements if they are his mother. A kitten, a hen, a dog, a cow. He asks all of them if they are his mother. Each one in turn says no. Then he asks an old beat-up car the same question. The car does not respond at all. Are you my mother? No, says one thing after another. In desperation, the baby bird calls out to an airplane flying overhead and then a boat in the river. Are you my mother? Silence. No response from the plane or the boat. Finally, despondent and tired, he decides to head back to the nest. He wants to find the mother that he has lost. As he heads back, the chick wanders onto a construction site, and there he sees this amazing piece of machinery. In the 915, I was schooled. I was told it's called an excavator. P.D. Eastman calls it a steam shovel, but we'll go with excavator. He opens his little mouth. He looks up at the excavator and says, "Are you my mother?" The excavator, in response, snorts and lets out a puff of grayish black smoke. That prompts the little bird to utter the immortal line in the story, "You are not my mother. You are a snort." Somehow, the excavator, not steam shovel, realizes it's called into action. It bends over, it scoops up the baby bird in the shovel part and carries it back to the very nest where the story started and deposits him in the tree. His mother returns, her beak full of worms from Wegmans. They are reunited. It's a glorious part of the story where the mother and the hatchling come back together and motherhood is once again secured. That's a great story. What's really interesting, though, is P.D. Eastman, over 50 years ago, realized that we have all kinds of mothers. They don't just come in one shape or form. A hen, a kitten, a dog, a cow, a plane, a boat, an excavator. Each one looks different. Each one sounds different. Each one is different. Every one of those possible mothers is very different from the others. But that doesn't stop the little bird from thinking they could be his parent. He seems to know that mothers, that parents come in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Somehow that bird instantly understood that there are all kinds of mothers out there. In the same way that all of you ended up standing, there wasn't a seat left on a pew. There are all kinds of mothers out there. When I went to the grocery store looking for a Mother's Day card for my daughter, I realized that society hasn't quite caught up with P.D. Eastman and that baby bird. There was a plethora of cards there. All of them had the same kind of mother in mind. You all know this mother. She's pert. She's bouncy. She has fresh blonde curls. She's never dirty. She's never angry. Her nails are buffed and polished. Dinner is on the table from this mother every day, sharply at 5:48. None of those are my daughter. None of those are the mother that I was. There's also a section which is really interesting in the Hallmark cards called the mahogany section. I looked at that and I thought, oh, success. They've realized there are brown mothers too. There's a special section of cards just for us moms who are a different shade of color. Those cards, they don't fit into the way that real motherhood actually works. There were no cows and hens on those cards. There were no planes. There were no boats. There were mostly cards for the standard, customary look of motherliness. That pert, smiley mother that somehow we're supposed to wish that we were. That mother we see depicted on television, online, in the movies, and in magazines, who actually really, guys, does not exist. There were no cards for the mothers and the fathers and the parents who care for their children in wheelchairs. There were no cards with the picture of a gorgeous woman with dark hair and gently slanted eyes. There were no cards for the gay parents, for the lesbian mothers, for those who mother us outside the boundaries of what society has said mothering is supposed to look like. There were only 1 or 2 cards there for the person I have experienced as the best mother of all time. Now, I'm no slouch in motherhood, but I'm not pointing at myself. When I was in seminary, I knew a young man named JT who was married to another young man named Derek. And the two of them had 2 twin girls who were stunning. If you remember Pippi Longstocking, they had bright red hair and bright blue eyes, and one of them was able to tame that hair into gorgeous pigtails on either side of their head. The other one was not. They quickly figured out that to be good parents, they had to divide and conquer. So every day, Derek got up at 7 a.m. and hit the grind. He got up, he threw espresso down his throat. He went out, he got in his small car, he drove across the Bay Bridge into San Francisco. He parked underneath a towering building that had a gorgeous view of the Bay Bridge and worked. Basically, from 7:45 till 7 o'clock at night in an office building. At the end of the day, he reversed that and drove back home to the Berkeley Hills and saw his girls who had been in the loving care of JT all day long. JT was the one that combed those pigtails. JT was the one that said, brush your teeth with toothpaste this time. JT was the one that said when they came out of the bathroom soaking wet from a bath they took together, did you use soap? They figured out that to mother successfully, to parent successfully, they had to divide and conquer. JT's flexible class and work schedule, he was a seminarian, he was working part-time, was a fathering godsend. They also figured out, honestly, that JT was better at managing the girls. So Derek went off to work and JT stayed home. It's the greatest mothering duo of all time. It always surprises me when some people, even liberal, feminist-minded people, ignorantly pass judgment on the situation of mothering that doesn't look like we think it's supposed to, right? JT loved to take his girls to the pool, and it was always in public when some well-meaning, lovely woman or man would make him feel small. Playing Mr. Mom today, eh? Oh, she left them in charge of you in charge of them, didn't she? Huh, isn't Mommy's day out? Not a single one of those people realized that what he was doing was simply parenting his girls. The worst compliment of all was this: they're beautiful, so boisterous. Are you babysitting today? The idea that you could negate this man's best work, what he thought was his life's calling, in a few words, in an offhanded remark, is devastating. Even when the words were followed by a laugh, they were an insult. Maybe some people didn't mean it that way, but they were. Maybe they thought they were being funny. They weren't. JT was not Mr. Mom. He hadn't been left in charge by her. He certainly was not babysitting. What he was doing was loving and taking care of his children. What he was doing was parenting. What he was doing was making sure the next generation was taken care of. The worst thing that ever happened to JT, along with the "they're too cute, oh how precious, aren't you a lucky daddy to be able to show off these girls," the worst thing that ever happened to him was also poolside. There was a day when the time had switched, when the lanes were closed, when the water aerobics class was coming in. They all got in the pool. The children's area had been roped off and his kids were splashing about. They finished up, they were on the side of the pool. He was drying them off. One of the well-meaning came over and said, "You know, you're really not doing that right. You ought to dry your hair this way. You ought to do the legs before you do the arms." In that moment, when he relayed that story to me, what I realized is somehow the world has decided exactly what mothers are supposed to look like, and he didn't fit the mold. It doesn't make sense because there's always been diversity in motherhood. We simply haven't figured out how to fully shift the lens and move beyond that narrow idea of what family is supposed to look like and how mothers should be perky or happy every single moment of time. There are other mothers, the aunt who never gave birth to children, by choice or not, who walked you to school every day, the father who held your hand through life's difficult moments, the older brother who made sure your fly was zipped and there was no toilet paper stuck to your shoe when you started junior high. Those are all mothers. Loving and caring for others is absolutely what motherhood is about. So on this day, let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate that the love we receive enables us, moves us, and teaches us to love big in return. It teaches us to create space for sustaining connections to one another. Whatever love creates the desire within us to give something back, that is the gift of motherhood. Mothering and motherhood, toilet paper on your shoe, making sure you get to class on time, braiding pigtails, all of those are ultimately intertwined to create the space we need to take care of each other. Today of all days, love is our common ground, and mothering itself is the creation of an expansive circle of love that meets others where they are and then provides this place for them to grow. I champion all of you for the large and the small acts of mothering that you have been part of. I honor your imperfections as you struggled with children, because it's a struggle. Yeah. I acknowledge the love that lies at the root of motherhood. When we feel loved and we are connected to family, friends, and companions, somehow we share that. We pass it on. We make sure that the people, the wee ones we're responsible for, are ready to love too. Hold that. Think about it. When you leave here today, call somebody who's mothering somebody and tell that somebody they're amazing. When you walk out these doors, take one word from this sermon and pass it on. We are in debt to anyone who mothered us and helped us through. Maybe here in this religious community, as we're mothering each other, we can plant the seeds to help us mother the next generation of people. I think I'll close with that. Amen, amen, and amen.
Would you now please rise as you're able and join us for our closing hymn in the gray hymnal, hymn number 95, There Is More Love.
There is more love.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
I invite you to be seated and to join me in our chalice extinguishing words found in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
Leave this place knowing the person to the left of you and to the right of you wants to be in relationship with you. Leave this place knowing you get to make all the mistakes, and the people in this room will support you when you turn the corner and begin again. Leave this place knowing, most importantly of all, you are not on this journey of life knowing. Hold those things and those thoughts on your heart and leave this place knowing you are loved. Amen.